Hey guys, it's Phil coming back at you with another video. Today, I'm back. I'm pumped up. Hopefully everyone's doing well, practicing self-care, not letting one thought, one situation, one person take them outside of what they know to be true. Today, I'm going to be sharing a free study group this Saturday, the 23rd, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time until they kick us out, and they can't kick us out because I'm the host. And let's get into this. And I know a lot of times people are like, man, Phil, I'm not feeling motivated. I'm not feeling pumped up. I've failed the exam, or man, it's my first time going in the exam. I'm not even really sure what I should be doing. Well, this study group is going to be helping you, one, hear about people that are winning the exam, kicked it directly in the chest to get the job done. Two, giving you the opportunity to come directly connect with me, share about your experiences, getting some insights of how you can also go into the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. And if you're like, man, Phil, I want to understand how I can rep and rock with you in my process. So outside of the free study group this Saturday, and the easiest way to do that is to join my paid study group. So the next study groups that are coming up are as follows. 724, ethics. So we're going through the code of ethics, cutting through each line, understanding not how to memorize it, but how to recognize and apply it to go into the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. We'll be going through subpoena versus court order. We'll be also identifying what are the mandated reporting requirements of if somebody's coming in, what is abuse, what is neglect, and identifying how you can mobilize and understand each of these different considerations, because a lot of times when people are talking about the code of ethics, they're talking black and white, but it's all about the gray, and that's why we have ethical dilemmas. So this session is going to be going through all those different considerations, as well as going through difficult practice questions to not just have you memorize, not just have memory or different information available to you, but that way you're able to go into the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done by practicing difficult questions. The next one after that is 731, practice questions. So going over the tips that I find most helpful for people to go into the exam to kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. Going through the 6-step process that I recommend every single person to go into the exam and break down the different questions that you can see. And again, it's not a shortcut. It's not a shortcut. It's not a shortcut, because a lot of times people are like, I need the silver bullet. I need the magic trick. It's not a shortcut. It's a way to be able to organize the information in a way that allows for you to better understand what the heck you're looking at. And then we'll be going through 15 difficult practice questions. And if you come into this session expecting to get them all right, do not come in this session doing that, because not that I don't think that you're good at breaking down questions, not that I don't think that you can pass the exam, but a lot of times people come in the sessions expecting to blow these questions apart. They get more questions incorrect than they thought that they would. They start questioning themselves. They start wanting to reschedule their exam. But allow for this session to open your mind to not add, not assume, not jump to conclusions, but be able to actually break these doggone questions down versus you having to break down during the exam. The next one after that is 8-7, Freudian theory. So going over the stages of psychosexual development, also going through psychoanalytic, going through the differences between the defense mechanisms. Again, these sessions are not to help you memorize anything, but help you actually go into the exam and have it as working memory of being able to recognize and apply the information as it relates to actual questions. Because after we go through the different concepts and content areas, we're then going to be going through different practice questions to help you apply the information. The next one after that is 814. DSM-5 adults. This session is going to be going over the personality disorders, the schizophrenia spectrum, the differences between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 disorder. We'll also be doing a review of the medications. Again, not a way to memorize them, but a way for you to actually look at the medications, be able to recognize and apply them as it relates to the exam. The next one after that is 821, the stages of treatment and diversity. So going over different diversity considerations. When is it applicable to when you should be considering somebody's diversity or their different social identities? But in addition to that, what are the stages of treatment? Because a lot of times people jump around, assume, and say, well, it's this stage of treatment, so it must be this, or man, it has to be this related to this. But actually helping you be able to recognize and apply the information as it relates to questions on the exam. The next one after that is 828, substance use and stages of change. So going over different symptoms of intoxication and withdrawal, as well as the stages of treatment, going through practice questions related to those. And the last one on the docket for now is 9-4, acronym, and going through practice questions. So going over the different levels of the acronym, not to have you memorize them, not for you to have the law and be like, it must be this in the exam, but helping you be able to understand what these stages can actually look like, as well as going through practice questions. And the practice questions that we'll go through in the 9-4 session are going to be different than the ones that we are going to be going through in the 731. So if you want to rep and rock with me in multiple different sessions, it's 100% possible, because I never want somebody to come in the session and be like, man, I've already seen this. This sucks. So again, in this 9-4 session, do not come into the session expecting to get every single question correct, but have an open mind, better understand where you're coming from with and for the situation, and build yourself up to go into the exam to kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. These sessions are Sundays from 7 p.m. Eastern Time until they kick us out. The sessions have varying times. Typically, on average, they're going to be 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours, however in the heck long it takes, because I want everybody to be able to get as much as they possibly can out of the sessions. And if you're like, man, Phil, I can't really attend these sessions live, or man, I can't really stay up until 11 p.m. Eastern Time or midnight or even 1 a.m. Eastern Time, but I still want to rep and rock with you, you don't have to attend the sessions at all, or you don't have to attend the sessions all the way through, because I record every single session. So if you want to get the recording as well as the materials, all you have to do is register as if you are going to attend the session, and then you'll be sent the materials Monday morning after the session. And if you want any information related to the paid Sunday study groups, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com or click the link down below in the description, which is under the title, the View More. It will have all the links to all the calendars and all the different ways that you can rep and rock with me, as well as I do still offer individual tutoring. So if you want to rep and rock with me on an individual level, it's 100% possible, but keep in mind that my schedule typically is going to book out 3 to 4 weeks in advance. So be mindful, if your exam is sooner than that, you may not be able to get a session, but if it is sooner than that and you want to be put on my tutoring waiting list, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com just in case somebody reschedules or cancels their session. But if your exam is beyond that point, you're likely going to get a session with me, and I appreciate every single person that reps and rocks in with me on that particular level, as well as the next one-day course is going to be on 7:30 from 11 a.m. Eastern Time until they kick us out. And again, I don't really have an end time on the sessions because I go until it's all the way done. The last couple of one-day courses have been 12, 13, 14 hours long because I want to give you as much information as you possibly can. And the one-day course is the most successful thing that I've done. Why? Because it gives you, one, the most amount of time with me, but two, gives you most amount of practical information that you can not just memorize things, but be able to recognize and apply them to go into the exam to kick it directly on the chest to get the job done. And if you're like, Phil, what the heck is the one-day course? The one-day course goes through a multitude of different topics, as well as goes through difficult practice questions to allow for you to be able to go into the exam, kick it directly on the chest to get the job done. So it'll go over the tips that I found most helpful for people that go into the exam to kick it directly on the chest to get the job done. It'll go over the most common reasons why people have failed the exam. So if you failed the exam, or if you're like not really sure what to expect, or you're feeling overwhelmed based on what the exam can be, those two sections are going to be helpful, but we're also going to be going through a different mixture of topics. We are going to be going over subpoena versus court order, operant conditioning. We're also going to be going over the medications, different DSM-5 diagnoses. We're going to be going over the acronym. We're going to be going over the 5-step process that I recommend people to go into the exam to kick it directly on the chest to get the job done, as well as going through difficult practice questions. And the practice questions that we're going to be going through in the 7:30 session are going to be different than the ones that we're going to be going over in the 7:31 session and then the 9:4 session. So if you want to rep and rock with me in multiple sessions, it's 100% possible. Why? Because they're going to be different questions. In this session, just like the Sunday study groups, you don't have to attend the session at all, or you don't have to attend it all the way through, because I know it's a lot for people to dedicate this much time throughout their day, but just know that I'm going to be there the entire time. But knowing that, if you want to get information or you want to get the recording as well as the materials, you can register for the session, and I'll send you those materials Sunday afternoon after the session, so that way you can review them at your own leisure. But if you're like, man, Phil, my exam is prior to 7:30, well, it is 100% possible to get a previously recorded version of the last one-day course, so that way you can still rep and rock with me. So if you want any information about the live one-day course or the previously recorded Sunday study groups or previously recorded one-day courses, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com or click the link down below in the description. It'll send you to the calendar, and you'll also be able to register for the session on your own. As well as, for those that do not know, Audible has continued to partner with me on my YouTube videos and my podcast. So if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at www.audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial. The 30-day free trial is the easiest way that you can support me. It costs you absolutely nothing. And if you're like, Phil, what is Audible? Audible is an easy way to get information on the go. So if you want to get into the position of where you become the best possible version of yourself, but you're super duper busy, your head is flying all over all the time, Audible is an easy way to get information and grow to become the best possible version of yourself, not just personally, but professionally, by listening to audiobooks. And I know it's definitely helped me because, again, I can't really stay still all the time. As you can notice, I'm like bouncing all around, but also it is a way that I learn because I learn based on audio. So the audio books are the way that I can do it. So again, if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial. But if you don't want to type that out, you can click the link down below in the description, get your free book. And that's the easiest way to be able to rap and rock with me. But if you're like, Phil, I want to get a free book, but I'm not really sure what book I should get, there are a couple that I would recommend, and they are as follows: The Alchemist, The Archer, Traumatized, and Outliers. Each of them have different ways that you can progress both personally and professionally, because I'm not just trying to help you pass the test. I'm trying to help you become the best possible version of yourself in the exam, but also beyond, to become the best social worker and person that you can possibly be. So if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial. And if you haven't already, hit this like button down below. The thumbs up on it means a ton to me, because it helps amazing social workers just like you find my videos as well as if you plan to attend the free study group or plan to do anything, just drop a comment down below, because the positive energy and the positive vibes definitely motivate me and help me stay on track, but they also are motivating and inspiring to other individuals as well. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit it, but also hit the bell notification next to it, so that way you get a notification every single time that I upload a video. And the rest of this video is going to be me showing you how to register for the free study group, but in addition to that, it's going to be some things that have been on my mind. So let's get into how you can register for the free study group. So there are two ways that you can do it. One, you can go to my calendar directly at fillinthegaps.as.me, or click the link down below in the description, and then it will send you to the calendar page. So again, it's fillinthegaps.as.me, and it'll send you to the calendar. So once you go to fillinthegaps.as.me, or click the link down below in the description, which again is under the title, and view more, it'll send you to the screen. So once you're on the screen, again, this is the same page that you could schedule a tutoring session, the one-day course, and all the Sunday study groups, but you're going to click the one that says free study group. So once you do that, you'll set your time zone, whatever time zone that you're in. I'm in Eastern time, so I'll hit set time zone. And once you're here, you're going to click the only date that is available, and then you can hit add time, hit continue, and then once you're on this page, you're going to enter your information. And again, my name is Philip Luttrell, or Phil Luttrell. My email is berda24@gmail.com. And before you click complete appointment, make sure that your email is correct, so that way you get the reminder emails. There will be a 48-hour, 24-hour, and 1-hour reminder email. So once you confirm that your email address is correct, hit complete appointment, and this will show up. This is going to be the link. If you want to save the link, all you have to do, copy this, paste it somewhere, and then you'll be a-okay. But after you do that, you're like, Phil, I don't have the link. Remember, there will be 48 hours, 24 hours, and 1-hour reminder. So again, you go to the link, go to the calendar. Once you're there, you're going to identify what does it look like, and what you'll click is a free study group. You'll click that, click the time, the 23rd, 3 p.m. Eastern time, or whatever your time zone is. Hit continue, enter your first, last name, enter your email, make sure your email is a-okay, and then hit complete appointment, and then you should be all set to be able to attend the session on the 23rd. And I'm going to be giving as much as I possibly can to you guys to be able to get you to the position to feel like you're in the best possible version of yourself, to go into the exam, to kick it directly in the chest, to get the job done. And now the rest of this video are going to be thoughts that I've been having. So if you're just like, man, I just wanted information on how to get to the free study group, well, that's a-okay, and I hope to see everybody there. And as I stated, if you're just trying to find how to register for this free study group, those are the instructions that you have to do. And if you're like, man, Phil, I'm not really sure what the free study group is going to be about, again, it is going to be people coming back talking about how they kicked the exam directly in the test and got the job done. It's going to be you coming and sharing your experience about how maybe you're struggling to feel motivated to get into the exam. Maybe you're looking for tips on how to better understand where you're at, or if it's your first time and just trying to get insight on how to go into the exam to kick it directly in the chest as well. That is what this free study group is going to be about. It's going to be different than the Sunday study groups of going over content and practice questions. There will be a couple of practice questions in this free study group, but that's not going to be the main purpose. So if that's all you're really looking for, then you can stop really watching the video. But for those that want to rep and rock with me and understand like what the heck has been going on, to continue watching, because I know not everybody's watching my videos for the motivation pieces and all those different things, and that's a-okay, but those that are rocking with me heavy, these are some of the things that have been going on in my mind, and I want to share them with you because I'm hearing it more and more every time. Man, Phil, I don't even think that I should be taking this test. Man, Phil, I don't even think that I should be a social worker. Or man, I have so much stuff going on in my life, and I'm feeling guilty that I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. Well, the biggest thing that is coming to my mind that is a theme of a lot people are telling me is like, man, you're assuming a lot of things about things that you don't have control over. And again, we all heard the phrase like, man, assuming makes a butt out of you and me. But the problem with that analysis is that it puts the onus on two people. However, when you're assuming something, it puts the onus entirely on you. That's why the end is on me. So your vision of where you should be, where you will be, or where you're at right now could be distorted based on the fact that you're identifying things that may not actually be there. Because when you assume something, it allows room for you to add things that are not there, take away things that are not actually in the situation, but it also allows for you to compare yourself with where you thought you would be. Because we do it all the time as humans. We assume what we could be doing. We assume where we should be. We assume that one thing in our life that is going to take the rest of our life. But the problem with that is that you're not leaving room that there could be change at any given moment in your life. That's like working with the client and expecting them never to change, but you're just going through Groundhog's Day of just knocking the wall and being like, hey, so what's going on? Okay, you're probably not going to change, so that's a-okay. Or, man, I already know your story, so you don't have to tell it to me. And we see this in the exam all the time. People will be like, man, this person told me that anytime that I see this word, I need to be going with this. Or, man, anytime that this is going on, it must mean this. But the problem with that is that you're taking out the individualism of what life is like, because you may be having a vision of where you thought that you would be, but the problem with that is it's not that you can't get there, it's maybe the timeline that you thought that you would get there on is off, or you're expecting that you have more skills in your situation than you actually do. Not to say you're not talented, but you're expecting things out of yourself that maybe your life is not letting you have. Or two, you have a lot of responsibilities and you're trying to juggle too many things, and you're expecting yourself to be in the carnival being like, do, when you really got to ask yourself, what am I doing right now? What am I not recognizing that I'm doing? What are the things that I'm downplaying? What are the things that I'm hyper-focusing on? And what are the things that I need to really be realistic with myself as it relates to who I am today? And that's what I'm talking about is you assume things about situations because it's a way for you to take control over a situation where you otherwise would not be able to be in. And what that looks like is when we assume things, we're already telling somebody else's story, or we're already telling ourselves that we got enough insight that we can predict the future, so we don't even have to try because we automatically know that that's where we're supposed to be. But the problem is that in life, one thing can change everything. You may meet a specific individual, you may do all these different things, and you will never recognize who you are in the future, because when you look back, you'll say, man, I didn't even think that that tragedy or that awful event was going to lead me to where I'm at right now. So if you sit down and you're listening to this right now and say, hey, what did I think that I would be doing at this point? But then you have to also think back to who you were when you created that plan. And did you know that all the things that were going to happen after that moment would happen? And if you tell me, no, Phil, man, I had no idea that all these things would happen. Man, I had no idea that all these opportunities wouldn't be here. Or man, I didn't have any idea that my support would be reduced. Or I had no idea that I would have more support. I had no idea that I'd have so many opportunities that I would have to pick from one or all of these different opportunities, but I wasn't ready for them. So that's my push for you right now is, what are you assuming about? Are you assuming that you should be getting more questions correct? Are you assuming that you should know more information? Are you assuming that you would have more hours in the day than 24 hours just because you know a magic trick and you're multiplying time? Did you think that you would know more people? Did you think that you would have more money? All these different things. What are you telling to yourself that is actually destroying where you're at today? Because the best way for you to destroy you feeling comfortable and confident in your situation is to compare yourself to another person, or to compare yourself to who you thought that you would be, but your expectations are so jaded because they were so amplified because you are being told that if you're not successful in every area of your life, that you're not successful in any area of your life. So think about that for a second. If you're like, man, one area or one moment or one thought or one situation determines the rest of my life, that's not the truth. Because if that's the truth, I'm just going to be like, all right, I'm not a social worker anymore because no one can really change. No one really benefits from more information. No one really benefits from more experiences. So I might as well not even try to empower people or try to motivate people in any way, shape, or form because there's nothing that can change. Which isn't the truth. And that's what I'm telling you is, what are you saying to yourself? What are you telling yourself? What are you hearing from other people? What are you telling yourself that you shouldn't be doing that you're doing anyway? And what prompted this is that a lot of people are telling me like, man, this one person that's helping me prepare for the test is telling me that I should always go with these certain words, or I'm disagreeing with the rationale. Not that I say that I know that I have all the answers, but when I question them, they're just regurgitating the same rationale, but they're also telling me shortcuts and that I can assume or expect or suspect things to be in the question. But when you go into the exam with your idea of what should be on the test, you're going to get blindsided because it's like if I go into a situation expecting somebody to be a certain way, and then they don't have that schema that I thought that they would have, or they're not acting in the way that I thought, I'm questioning myself and saying that I'm somebody that's a problem. And it's not that you're a problem. Your perspective of what you thought that would be there isn't there. You don't question the source, you question yourself. So that's where you really got to ask yourself, what are the things that I'm saying to myself? What are the opportunities that I thought that I would have? And why am I beating myself down so much? Because if you find yourself degrading yourself, or if you find yourself being overcritical of yourself, or if you find yourself feeling like you have to be 100% together all of the time, you really got to pull yourself back and say, where's this coming from? Because a lot of times people that have been through tragedies start building resiliency, but the resiliency is only supposed to be a short-term thing. And what I mean by that is if you've been through a tough situation, or if you've been in an environment that's invalidating you, or if you've been in an environment where you feel like you have to prove yourself, once you get to that point where you feel like you're successful or you prove something to somebody, you don't turn that off. You continue driving and striving towards the future, but you don't give yourself for the credit from where you came from. And that's why I always tell people, don't assume nothing about anything. You come into the situation with curiosity, you come into the situation with openness, and then you open the doors to things that you otherwise might not even thought of possibility could be there. So that's where you got to really ask yourself, what is the information that I'm receiving? What are the messages I'm telling myself? What are the messages people in my life are telling me? And what are the messages that my previous self are telling me right now that I should not be listening to? What are the things that I'm telling myself to diminish my accomplishments or to beat myself up or to degrade who I am to the point if I beat myself into submission that I will be able to submit the results that I want in the future? You can't shoot yourself in the foot and expect yourself to run 100 miles an hour. You can't expect yourself to do the job of 4 or 5 different people and expect yourself to feel rested. You can't expect yourself to be at a certain point or compare yourself to where you once were or who you thought that you would be and then diminish and expect yourself to be successful in this given moment. And there can be strengths from you wishing that there were more, but what you need to do is have a dream of where you want to be, but what you have to do is notice that this moment is a dream at this given moment too. And why I say that is not every moment is guaranteed. Not every situation is guaranteed. You could die tomorrow. You could die today. You could have somebody close to you pass away. So you really got to ask yourself, what am I doing today? Am I taking this stuff for granted? Or am I making my current moment so stressful that I would rather escape to a previous moment or a future moment because I'm so discontent to where I'm at or who I am that I'm starting to become other people because I would rather blame them if things don't go right versus taking the ownership of myself and saying everybody on this given planet is getting experience at some capacity, because once you go through something that you've never thought that you would go through, do you actually get the moments that you need to go to the moments that you want in the future? Because it's the stressful moments, it's the dark moments, it's the painful moments, it's the tragedy that is going to lead to triumph. It is the pain that you are going to dissect and understand and say, why am I going through this? And how can I get to that moment that I want to be? But if you're so blinded and saying, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why are people doing this to me? And I'm not saying that people should be hurting you, but what you need to do is say, what is my responsibility in this? What is my role in this? And it's not to say that you are at fault for this, but what you have to do is say, what am I being molded into? What am I needing from this situation to get me out of this situation? What do I need from this moment? What am I telling myself that is a lie? Because way too many people are assuming and lying to themselves of negativity, but when you start breeding the positivity, or if you have somebody in your situation that is willing to support you, they're building you up and they're saying positive things, but you're willing to land base them and say, you don't know me. But the problem is they may know you better than you think and they're trying to build you up, but you're so uncomfortable when people come into your situation to help support you that you push them away. But you would rather have somebody that's negative and beating down your throat than to have somebody that's saying you can do this. And that's where I'm telling you, what are the assumptions you have? Because if you're like, man, anybody that comes into my situation is going to hurt me. Any situation I get into, I can't trust anybody, including myself. What does that say about all the opportunities you probably have not gotten into because you're not willing to seek out the assistance or all these different things that you may need in your moment? Because it's the moments that you can sit down and say, I'm a human. It's the moments you can sit down and say, I am struggling. It's the moments that you can say, I went through all of this and I still got through it, that you will actually grow. Because it's the moments that you realize I went through those things and I did not want to go through those things, but what can I take from them? What do I need to learn from these things? What do I need to earn from these things? And how can I make it a lesson and blessing for somebody else? How can I take my pain and make it into something that is going to be a privilege in the future? How can I take all these different moments that I've been through and boil it down into a pot and form something new? Because anybody at any given moment can stop where they're at today and become a version of themselves they never thought they would be. Everybody can, at this given moment, take a step back and say, what are things that I'm not good at? And what do I need to become good at those things? What are things that I need to be doing today that I don't want to regret tomorrow? What are things that I need to be doing today? What are the people that I need to be speaking to? What are the things I need to be doing? What do I need to be saying to myself? What are the things I need for self-care? What are all these things that I know that I should be doing at this given moment, but tomorrow, if I do not do them, I will beat up on myself more than if I were to put myself through the pain of sacrificing today to get them and embrace them and have them forever tomorrow. And that's where a lot of times people are like, man, this exam is beating me down. Man, these people at work are beating me down. Man, the supervisor's telling me what I need to be doing. This coworker's telling me what I need to be doing. All these people are telling me these different things that I don't actually want to hear, but you got to ask yourself, are they telling it to you because they want to hurt you? Or are they telling it to you to show you that that's not how you need to be treated anymore? Or are they telling it to you because they know that you're tolerating things that you shouldn't be tolerating and that you need to start putting up those boundaries and sacrificing and setting yourself up and saying, I need to be who I want to be. And if somebody is mistreating me, I no longer have to tolerate it. Because there have been people that have went through things and they've been treated in a way that they should have never been treated by people that should have been looking out for them. But now what they've done is convince themselves that they must be mistreated, and that's a way that people are going to never leave them and never have to hurt them ever again. But the problem is you've been so conditioned to go through the pain, you've been so conditioned to accept things that you shouldn't accept, that you're willing to accept anything as long as it doesn't come with resistance. As long as it doesn't come with resistance. And that's the thing, is assumption combined with you just going with the flow, it is going to leave you at the lowest point of your life. It is going to leave you to a point that you don't even think that you can do it. But the best thing that you can do is identify, what am I running from? What am I saying to myself? What are the things I want to be doing? And what are the steps I need to take today? Because everybody is going through tragedy right now. Everybody is experiencing something. And I'm not saying that to diminish your experience. Why I'm saying that is to normalize that what you're experiencing and what you're feeling is okay. I'm telling you that because I want you to realize that even though you think everybody has everything together, they don't. Nobody does. What we are doing is getting lessons and blessings from each day and understanding. But the problem is we may be getting lessons and blessings, but the things that we tend to forget, we will repeat in the future. That's why I'm telling you, be more mindful of them. You don't have to be 100% changed in the moment and be like, all right, Phil told me I need to do this. Now I'm fixed. It's what do I need to recognize? And when I recognize it, how am I going to react to it? Am I going to let it happen? Am I going to change something? Or am I going to leave this situation? So that's my push. Because a lot of times when people go through tragedy, they start assigning different emotions and different things that they shouldn't be experiencing. But you can rewrite the story. You can rewrite what you want to see. Because again, anybody at this given moment can make the decision to change something. That's not coming from a privileged lens of being like, you know what? Social identities and all these different things don't exist. But what you can do is create a plan every single day. What you can do is identify what is one step or half a step or even a quarter of a step or an eighth of a step that I can take to be the best possible version of myself. Set an expiration date on all this pain. Set an expiration date on the things that you're telling yourself. But also create a goal to connect yourself with people that are looking out for you. Make a goal to identify what you need to be doing. But also keep a tally of all the negative stuff you're saying about yourself. Because the more negative stuff you're saying about yourself, the more that you're a bully to yourself, the more that you're beating yourself down. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow or is this helping me be in the same position? Is this helping me dig a hole? Is this helping me be solidified? Or is it helping me propel towards the future? And like I said, it's not going to be easy. But a lot of times what people do is they take the path of least resistance and they convince themselves that anytime they experience pain or anytime they experience adversity, that they need to leave or they need to give up or they need to fight and convince the situation that they're better than what that situation is. And what I've said in previous videos is that it's coming from a lens of privilege and arrogance. Because if you get a question incorrect and you're willing to fight somebody over it, or you're willing to start citing different things that are not actually present in the question, what does that say about you? That you're never wrong? And if you're saying that you're never wrong, I'm not challenging you, but I'm going to say, are you perfect? Because every person I know, including myself, are not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I say the missed things all the time. But what you got to do is really take ownership and say, what are the things that I don't know and what are the things that I need to know in order to grow and to become the best possible version of myself? What are the things that I would tell another person, or what is the grace that I would give another person, or what are the things that I need to see with and for my situation to be able to become the best possible version of myself? So that's my push. Don't assume anything. Don't have a rigidity. Don't fight resistance. Don't have all these different things, but also don't demonize your experience, because your experience and your opportunities and all the things that you've been through are a blessing to somebody else. And what I'll leave you guys with the close and where all this came from is I was doing a tutoring session with somebody and just right on the onset, they're like, man, I can't believe I'm finally talking to Phil. And I was like, I don't know who you're expecting here. It's just me. But they're like, no, you changed my life. The things that you say have changed my perspective. Who you are as an individual has changed how I view myself. And during that session, that person didn't know it. But I was reflecting on, man, wow, words are powerful. What you say is powerful. The energy you have is powerful. Your triumphs aren't the culmination of your successes. Your triumphs are a culmination of your pain. And that's what hit me is like, man, don't assume nothing about nothing. And what I mean in my angle is I always assume that what I'm going to say is never going to be heard. I assume that whenever I record a video, that people are going to say, man, this guy sucks now. But what I have to tell myself is, you're coming from that lens because that's what you experienced growing up. You're coming from that lens because it's easier for you to degrade yourself than to build yourself up and then have somebody knock it down for you. So that's what I'm telling you. Don't let what you've been through not be a lesson and blessing for somebody else. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, man, I'm almighty and look at me. I'm saying that because I'm humbled. I'm humbled to the fact that I never know that what I'm saying and how it's going to hit, but I know that as long as I keep trudging forward and as long as I'm open and I'm honest and I'm genuine, I will continue to help people go into the exam to kick it directly in the chest. I know as long as I keep doing it, if I were to leave this planet tonight, if I were to leave this planet tomorrow, I know that at least I gave everything that I got. At least I was 100% me to the death of me. at least I did everything that I possibly could to change this world for the better. Because I never want anybody to go through what I've went through, but I know what it feels like to not feel like you're good enough. I know what it feels like not to feel like you're successful. But my push is change your perspective of where you're at and embrace what you're doing. Because you never know when the moment could end, but what you can control is how you emulate what you want to do at this given moment. So hopefully that was helpful for somebody. Hopefully it's going to help somebody in some way, shape, or form. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. And it's amazing how many people are in the Fill in the Gaps community. It's amazing how many people rep and rock with me. And if you made it to this point in the video, drop down below and say like, man, this was helpful. Or like, just say something positive. Say something that you're going through to normalize that struggles are real. Because from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. I hope to see you in the Sunday study groups, the one-day course, individual tutoring, or even in the free study group. I'm going to give everything that I got. Take care. Be safe. Keep building yourself up. I'll see you guys in the next video. I love every single one of you guys. And peace out, guys.